right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Team Rhino call. This is August 16th. We're halfway through the month of August, Cup month. So I know everybody is, clamoring for trying to work with as many people as possible. I'm actually going to mute everybody just real quick just to make sure that the call is good. So welcome, and I know you all are working with your Team Cup teams and you're trying to get your Success Club points and your rank advancements and all that kind of stuff. And we also have the Team Rhino activity tracking challenge basically going on where people can track their activity in the Team Rhino app, and we've got rewards for that for the month of August. So I know a bunch of people, I've seen people submitting their Team Rhino activity tracker forms and stuff and keeping track of their new contacts and their challenge group invites and their follow-ups and all that kind of stuff. So I hope that's helping people, and we can tweak that as we go. So if you have any suggestions on that and say, I don't really use this category very much, or maybe we should add this category or whatever, just send me a message and let me know what you think. This is our first month doing it. What I wanted to do on this call today, though, we might have some people join us or at least watch this team call in our What is Coaching group or our Sneak Peek to Coaching group. So I might ask around and just ask for some thoughts on what you think about coaching and why you became a coach, and just see if anybody wants to talk about that. But I wanted to cover a couple of the things that we're tracking in our Team Rhino activity tracker and talk about how to get more of those things. So the number one thing, the very first item in the Team Rhino activity tracker is new contacts. And so I want to talk mostly about that today. So when you go in and you track your activity, what we're doing is we're saying, hey, these are the things, these are the activities that move my business forward. I have to do all of these things as much as possible, either on a daily basis, or if I'm working my business 3 days a week is what I have to work it, or I work it every day, whatever it is. These are the things that I have to do when I sit down and do my business in my power hour or my power 2 hours or my power 5 hours, whatever you have. And the very first one on there is new contacts, not because it's the first one I thought of, but because it's one of the most important. It really is the most important. If you start out the business and you have a lot of friends and you're a very social person, and people like and respect and enjoy your company, and you've got this group of friends, everybody has some amount of that, then the business can be kind of easy at first, because you're like, oh, I talked to this friend and they're really good friends, and I tell them how much I love it, and they go, yeah, that sounds great, I'll sign up for that. And hey, talk to this friend, tell them how much I love it, and they're like, I'll do that with you. But eventually you have to have a new group of people that like and trust you to talk to about the products, because you may run out of it in 6 months, or you may run out of it in a year, or you may run out of it in 2 years, or you might run out of it in a week, of all of those initial people that know, like, and trust you, right? So you have to be always creating new contacts. I like to go for 2 to 3 new contacts every day if I can. And I find those in all different ways. So what I wanted to talk about today was, with our new contacts that you're putting in the Team Rhino activity tracker, what are some of the main ways that you find new contacts to put in that? So if you're looking for 2 to 3 new contacts a day, how do you find them, and what do you count as a new contact? Okay, so if you're brand new to the business, you can count anyone that you're not currently in contact with all the time as a new contact. So if you're brand new, what I would suggest is, most people that I know that are brand new to the business, they have not gone back and thought about who they lived across the street from in 4th grade, right? You just haven't, you're not friends with that person on Facebook, the person that you knew in 4th grade that you lived across the street with, unless you have lived on the same street all your life and you know everyone that you lived across the street from. But I know for me, we moved a couple times, and I reconnected as I became a coach. I reconnected with some of the people that I lived across the street from when I was in elementary school, and then we moved, right? And you're just not friends with those people. So the first place to go find new contacts when you become a new coach is to go find all the people on social media and email and wherever you want to contact people that you already know, but you're not in regular contact with, because you already have some rapport with those people, right? And you can start a conversation easily. When I reconnected with my next door neighbor, that was my next door neighbor from the time I was 3 years old to the time I was 15 years old, it was an easy conversation starter, because it was like, what have you been doing since you were 15? You know, he's 32 and I'm 35 or whatever. And we had a great conversation and we talked, and actually his mom ended up buying Shakeology and becoming a coach and all kinds of discount coach on my team and stuff like that. But I just went back and I said, okay, here I am at 12 years old at my house on 222nd Street. Who lived across the street? Where do I find them? Okay, who lived next door to that? Who lived next door to me? Who lived, you know, and I just thought about all the people that I knew. And those are all contacts that you can add on Facebook and become friends with everyone that you used to know. Now, if there's people that you don't want to be contacts with, that's up to you. You guys take care of that. But the more contacts you have, the better, you know, the more connections you have to talk to people about what you're doing, okay? So that's the first place, if you're a brand new coach, is go reconnect with all the people that you already know. Okay, once you're done with that, once you have connected with everyone you can possibly think of, your next place to go, if you're looking for new contacts for the day, is people who share the same things with you, the same things that you like to do. And it doesn't have to be fitness. It doesn't have to be athletic stuff. It doesn't have to be nutrition related stuff. It can be anything. I will say though, that my number one genre of people to look for are triathletes. And because that's athletic and because it fits in with Beachbody very well, it's an awesome place to go find people, because the conversation into fitness and the conversation into Beachbody is an easy transition. So when I find a new person that's a triathlete on Instagram or on Facebook or in my local triathlon club, I have an easy transition into what are you training for next? And then that transitions into, are you using a coach or are you using a training plan? And then that transitions into the training plan that I'm using, which involves Body Beast, or it involves P90X3, or it involves PiYo. And that transitions into, wow, I didn't even know that that stuff fit into triathlon. How do you do that? And that transitions into them becoming a user of one of my triathlon training plans, possibly getting Shakeology, the performance line, and becoming a coach. It's such an easy transition that that's where I go when I want to find new contacts, is I go find triathletes. Now, you could totally find people who enjoy fly fishing if you're a fly fisherman. Now, how to transition that into a Beachbody conversation and all that kind of stuff might be a little bit more difficult. But if you love fly fishing, you can talk to people who are fly fishermen, right? I mean, you can talk to those people, connect with them. You guys are going to connect, and you're going to like each other, and you're going to trust each other. And then when you talk about Beachbody, it's going to be an easier conversation. So it might not be an easy transition like the triathlete thing is, but if you like fly fishing, those are some of the people that you might want to go get in contact with. So where do you find people who are fly fishermen, or people who are surfers, or people who are machinists? Where do you find these people, you know, that you want to connect with? Well, some of them are a little harder than others, because there's probably not a whole lot of people who are machinists on Instagram posting pictures of the things that they machine. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Maybe there is. But it's not as prolific as somebody who's a triathlete who likes to post pictures of their bike and post pictures of them running and post pictures of their Strava, you know, King of the Mountains, and their Strava, you know, whatever they call it. Yeah, right. Brooks is like, yeah, I post that kind of stuff all the time, you know. But so maybe it's not as easy to find those people, but you can find them in different places. For me, for triathletes, all I do right now is Instagram. I use hashtags on Instagram. I search hashtags on Instagram, and I find people who are triathletes. Sometimes they're all in Europe and the UK and Australia, and that's not as helpful for business. But I am in contact with thousands of triathletes now on Instagram, just from using hashtags, searching hashtags, following those people, liking their pictures, and talking to them about triathlon. So you need to think, where are the platforms, whether Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, local groups like triathlon groups, local groups of people who do whatever it is you like to do. Eric's got a good one, Pokemon Go, right? There's, who likes to do Pokemon Go? There's an age group there. There's two different age groups, probably, really. There's the age group of people who grew up with Pokemon when it was the biggest, with the cards and stuff like that. I'm really not knowledgeable on this, but, the cards and stuff. But then there's like the younger kids now who are playing Pokemon Go, and you have their parents who are playing it with them because they enjoy spending time with their kids, right? So there's these groups of people. I'm guessing there's Facebook groups full of people who talk about Pokemon Go, right? And you can go in those groups, you can friend request people, you can have conversations with people and connect with people, okay? So you got to think, where are my people and how do I find them? Oh, here's one of my people. Hi, Lucy. Okay, so where are you going to find your people? I want to talk to people that are on this call right now and tell me, where are you finding your people? So Eric, why don't you go? You'll have to unmute yourself if you can there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I might have stolen your thunder already, but if it's just Pokemon Go, that's a great place to focus. But are there any others that you're looking for, or how are you finding those people?
So right now it's been basically two different places. On Instagram, mainly Pokemon Go, and usually targeting PokeFit. There's two different kind of brands of Pokemon Go. You have people that are just interested in the game and the stats, and then you have people that are more interested in the fitness aspect of it, hatching eggs. If anybody plays Pokemon, you know what I'm talking about. But
it's like 5K, you hatch an egg or something like that?
Yes. So you have to walk around and move to hatch these Pokemon. So it involves a fitness aspect, which really ties well into Beachbody or just being active. And so that's kind of the angle that I'm marketing and targeting, is the fitness aspect of it. So on Instagram, that's kind of who I'm targeting. And then Facebook, I'm just trying to reconnect with old friends, create new contacts, and
you can always look at, like, on Facebook, if you're ever stuck, you can always look at the suggested friends on Facebook. You can find some people to connect with. Usually they have mutual friends. You can friend request them. You could say, hey, we have some mutual friends, whatever. You can start conversation with people if you want. But that's great. Are they using the hashtag PokeFit? Are people actually using
you got PokeFit, you got Pokemon Fitness, you got just your Pokemon ones, but there's groups out there that are just focused on Poke Fitness, which blew me away. I didn't even know that existed. But there's a Poke Fit core group.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, who else? David, where are you connected with people right now? Got to unmute yourself somehow, or maybe I can unmute you.
I got it.
You got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you.
Well, I play bass, so I'm looking in the bass groups.
Okay.
Bass groups and things like that. But it's just like you said, you got to find what you like and what you like to do, and that way you can have a conversation with those kind of people and just touch with them and or connect with them and add them to your list.
Exactly. Okay. Sharina, you're fairly new to the coaching thing, couple months now. You might still be mostly in your warm market of people that you already knew. Are you connecting with new people outside that too? Do you have any places you're connecting with new people?
Mostly it's just my friends from growing up and then our church friends. But then anyone that joins the challenge group, I always ask them to invite their friends in. So there's a bunch of people I don't know that are coming in because of their friends doing it.
That's a good idea. Always getting the friends of friends is another way to make more. There's a connection there, right? They know you know this person and they know that person. And so there's a bridge there that, makes sense. And people are okay with the friend requests and the conversations when there's a connection like that. It's good. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Sure.
How are you putting in the type of friend that you're looking for? You guys are like, is there a specific place you can do that, like on Facebook?
So on Facebook, what I would look for is groups that are associated with the thing that you're looking for. So you go in the search bar of Facebook, and if you're looking for a PokeFit group, you would type in something like Pokemon Fitness, and it would list some groups, hopefully, that would fit that. If you're looking for fly fishing, you would type in fly fishing and look in the group section and see. It's much easier, I think, to find and follow and connect with people these days on Instagram, because Instagram is, especially if the thing that you like is photographable, then you can do it on Instagram. And Instagram is all about hashtags. And so what you would do is, like the way I only started doing Instagram like in May of this year. And all I did is I searched in Instagram, there's the little magnifying glass. You search, I think I searched hashtag triathlon. And then I looked at the top pictures and posts that were hashtagging triathlon. And I wrote down all the other hashtags that they were using in the post as well. Because usually it's not just one hashtag, it's 10 or 15 or 20. And so I wrote down all the ones off of some of the top 10 posts, and I got together a group of 30 or 40 hashtags that people are using for swimming, biking, running, triathlon. And I was like, okay, these are like the top ones that people are using for this. And I started putting those on my pictures and also going and following the people that were using those. So I would search that hashtag, start liking their stuff, following them, and then using them in my stuff. And then when someone follows you on Instagram, they look at, okay, well, who's this person that follows me? And they start looking through your pictures and they see similar hashtags. You're running today, you're biking today, you're swimming today. And they're like, oh, okay, follow. I don't mind following somebody who's running, biking, and swimming like I do, you know. And then you can send them a message. You can say, hey, I like your profile. Hey, what are you training for? And start a conversation and have a dialogue with that person. So Instagram's a great way to do that. Twitter is the same way. Twitter, you can do search by hashtags. It's like search.twitter.com you can go to and do all that. I don't do Twitter really very much. All my Facebook stuff automatically goes to Twitter, but I don't really actively use it. And then I don't know very much about Snapchat, but I hear that you're supposed to know something about Snapchat these days if you're doing this. So, because everybody's on Snapchat now. And I don't know if you use how you search for people on that. Does anybody on here know how to search for people on Snapchat? Wow, Gary V would be so upset at us, wouldn't he? Gary Vaynerchuk was at Summit, and he was like, if you're not on Snapchat, you're doing it wrong. So I'm not on Snapchat. Well, I am on Snapchat. I just don't use it. So that's the next thing to learn is how do you use Snapchat to find people. But Instagram is really easy to do so. Does that help, Sarah? Some, maybe?
Yeah, that helped.
Okay. Brooks, you had something?
Yeah, I mean, I still am connecting with people in my live classes, PIO, Insanity, Size, whatever. I mean, those are excellent ways to do it. And, you know, like you, I'm doing Instagram too, trying that out. I'm getting some traction. Not a whole lot, lots of little conversations here and there.
Yeah. Okay. So live classes is definitely, I mean, that's a bigger commitment than the social media thing. You got to get certified. You got to get in with a gym, and you got to teach live classes. And that's kind of scary. But like I've said before on other team calls and stuff, and I think I said it at Summit too, with the small group we had there, about how much of an awesome personal development it is to become an instructor and actually teach live in front of a class. And then you gain instant credibility with anybody that walks in that class because you're the instructor, right? So when you're the instructor and somebody comes in your class and they start talking to you about whatever, nutrition, they say, what do I eat? They're looking at you like you know something. Right? So you have instant credibility that you don't have when you friend somebody in a fly fishing group on Facebook. Like, you have no credibility about fitness when you are getting to be friends with somebody on Facebook. You know, zero credibility. You have to build that, and you can through conversation. You can totally build that trust. But when you're in front of a live class and then you talk to your people afterwards, you already have the credibility there. So it's an excellent place to connect with those people. They're like, this guy is teaching the class. Like, I never do anything like that. I should listen to him, right? Him or her. So, all right, great. Anybody else? Becca, did you have anything? Thoughts where you're connecting with people? Sandy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, just being on social media, like I was never a presence on social media at all. Very rarely. So I've been doing at least 3 times a day, and I'm getting a lot just from the people I'm already friends with, just by being there.
So just kind of connecting more with the people that you already have as friends, like actually being more involved and present with that group of people. Okay.
Yep.
Sandy, and if we hit everybody, Sandy, I think is our last one.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I do a lot of Facebook groups. I'm also doing the Instagram thing. Getting some traction with the triathlete hashtags. I'm also vegan, and I get some traction with that, not a lot. I'm in local vegan groups.
Okay.
And I'm stepping out on the town and going to concerts and volunteering for things and meeting people that way, plus my size live classes and my indoor swim classes, meeting people there. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that I meet don't use Facebook. So I have to keep going back to those places.
Because they're not connectable outside of the.
They're not connectable on social media. But I've also found some high school groups, and I actually had someone surface from first grade. They moved away after first grade, and we've started a conversation.
Yeah,
that
see, there you
yesterday.
go.
So
All right.
There you go. And so that's kind of where I'm doing it.
Okay. Cool.
And I had a lot of people crawl out of the woodwork today that are our friends on Facebook because I posted my first live video. I did my first live video today.
Oh, awesome.
And I had some people that I hadn't talked to or heard from, or I didn't know they were looking at my stuff, and there were comments and likes and all sorts of stuff after the fact.
That's
That
great.
was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Awesome. So you're using it all. You're using Instagram and Facebook and local stuff and live classes and all of it. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some ideas for you. Those of you who might be watching, or new coaches or coaches who've been around a while, whatever, there's some ideas of how to get those new contacts. And new contacts are, Lucy, I don't need the dog in my lap right now. New contacts are the key, a big key to this whole thing. The next key, which we'll only talk about for a second, and maybe I'll cover this in more detail next call because we're already almost half an hour here. The next key on it is challenge group invites. So inviting people to try the products that we sell, right? And the cool thing about it, the thing I love about it, is that we're not just inviting them to buy products, we're inviting them to a group where they get support. And support is the key, right? Support is that piece that we provide that no one else can provide. They can go buy beachbody.com, they can buy the same products, but they won't get the support. If they buy it through us, they get the challenge group, they get us, they get the support, all that kind of stuff. And so the next thing on the Team Rhino activity tracker is to invite people to challenge groups and to track how many people you're inviting. Now, honestly, if I have made enough connections with the right type of people, those challenge group invites happen almost concurrently with the conversations that I start when I make new contacts. And it's not a separate task that I do, but it also can be. There's nothing wrong with it being a separate task. It can be something where you say, you know what, I'm going to invite that person to try out this health bet. You know what, I'm going to invite that person to do this training plan and buy this product to help them with that next triathlon they're doing. Or I'm going to invite this person to do that. You totally can do an actual straight up invite to someone who you've built rapport with and built trust with. I never, ever, ever recommend people doing straight cold invites, like friend requesting somebody on Facebook you don't know, and the first message you send them is an invite to do a challenge group where they have to buy a product. Don't do that. Build rapport with people, build trust with people, and then invite them to stuff. Okay. Now, with the triathlon thing that we've been talking about a little bit, since that's my area of where I go, it's very easy for me to make a challenge group invite or to make an invite to buy products. When I ask them what they're training for, they tell me what they're training for. I ask them if they're using a coach or a training plan. They tell me they don't really have a training plan. They're kind of going off of something off the internet. I then have an easy invite to use one of my training plans. And that is going to require P90X3, or it's going to require PIO, or it's going to require Body Beast. And now I'm into an invite. I can talk about our products. It's a pretty easy transition. I wait a little while. I listen to them. I give them advice on running form. I give them advice on whatever I can give them advice on, or listen to them. If there's someone who can give me advice, I ask them, well, what do you do about that? And I listen to their advice and I have a conversation. But it's pretty easy through conversation to transition into an invite, right? The same thing with invites to coaching. If you ask somebody what they do for a living, it's pretty easy when they ask you what you do for a living to get to a conversation where you might be able to invite them to the coaching opportunity, because they might tell you that they hate their job, and you can tell them that you love your job. Or maybe you're not doing this full time and you do this job, but you're also doing this job and you're really passionate about this one, and you can get into a conversation with them. So all I really want to say about inviting is that most of the time, if you're connecting with people that you can really connect with and you really love what you're doing here with Beachbody, you can transition that through conversation without it being like, I need to go invite 3 people today, so let me pick 3 off my list and go send a message that says, I'm starting a challenge group on so-and-so day. Would you like to come? There's not anything wrong with that. If you have good rapport with that person, you've already built the trust, go for a straight up invite. That's fine. If that's working for you, go for it. But if you can make it happen through conversation, that's how I do it. That's what works for me. Okay. Whatever works for you is fine, but inviting people to try our products and not just having conversations that never get there is one of the keys, right? If you get yourself 1,000 new friends and you never invite any of them to try our products, that new contacts thing isn't going to work out very well for you, right? You have to invite them in some way, either through the conversation that feels natural, or boldly with, hey, I thought of you for this group. What do you think? It's one way or the other. So does anybody have any comments on that before we call this meeting good? Because I don't like to go much more than half an hour because I know people got stuff to do. Thoughts on challenge group invites, things that you do for that, ways that work for you. Nobody? I covered it all for you, Brooks. It's all good.
Well, so far I haven't had any success with the challenge group invites. So I don't know. But yet, let me put yet on there, because I've got some people, I'm a different age group than most everybody else here.
Yeah.
And I've got people who have hip replacements and knee replacements. They've fallen.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have foot surgery. They can't walk right now. And I can't put them into an exercise group knowing that they can't do the exercise.
And if you're not getting a lot of people that are connected on Facebook, then they're not going to be able to participate in the challenge group. Although with the new tracker app, maybe they can if they have a phone, and they can do the new thing. So
right, most of them do have a smartphone to keep in touch with the kids and stuff.
Right. So they may be willing to log some workouts. They might be willing to do, just be active in there. I mean, you can log a walk, a half-mile walk in that tracker if you want to. It doesn't have to be a Beachbody workout, right? So
right. So we can just do a Shakeology, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
On the tracker.
Absolutely. Now for the health bet, they do have to log 3 workouts, but I don't think they have to be Beachbody workouts necessarily. They just have to log 3 workouts, if I understand it correctly. So they could go for a half-mile walk, or a 1-mile walk or 2-mile walk or whatever, and log that in, and they're good to go.
Hey, Ryan, something I'm going to try tomorrow for the first time is I'm going to start posting my invite for September's group. And I'm asking anyone who's been in a challenge group with me before, like an hour before I post it, I'm asking them to join me, comment, like it, and then share it on their pages. If I've helped them in any way, they can help me out by sharing it. And so hopefully we'll see, because usually when I post a challenge invite, it's quiet. Like there's almost nothing. And so people will private message, but it doesn't show people looking that there's any traction there.
Right. So all the people from your past challenge
Right,
groups, you're asking them to come on and comment and like and say, I did her last one and it was amazing. Or I did her last one and I lost this much weight. That's perfect. That's a great idea.
And then I'm asking them to even share it on their page, like to take my post, share it, and make a comment about it.
Right. See, then you could say, hey, you're practically a coach. You should be a coach.
All right.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Anybody else got comments or questions before we call this team call done? Nobody? All right. Well, thank you guys for being on tonight. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll send out the recording of this on the team email list and all that stuff, and post it in the group too so everybody can see it. Good night.